Today, I will tell you about attempts to crossbreed humans with animals, one of the most controversial trends in the history of science. In the 1920s, Soviet biologist Ilya Ivanov set out on one of the most ambitious and controversial scientific experiments in history, the creation of a human-monkey hybrid. The experiments were conducted in Guinea, where Ivanov attempted to artificially inseminate female chimpanzees with human sperm in the hope of achieving successful conception. The aim of the research was to study the genetic compatibility between humans and primates, and to attempt to demonstrate the theory of evolution in action. Ivanov believed that creating such a hybrid could help in understanding human genetics and biology, but his experiments were not successful. None of the female chimpanzees became pregnant. Attempts to continue the research faced serious. In addition to scientific difficulties, the project was halted due to ethical objections, growing international criticism, and lack of funding. Subsequently, Ivanov's experiments became the subject of controversy and condemnation, and his work gained a reputation as one of the most radical and morally ambiguous studies in the history of science. In 2017, Chinese scientists conducted a unique experiment by creating an embryo with a mixture of human and pig cells as part of a research project aimed at developing methods to regenerate human organs for transplantation. Scientists sought to understand how cells from different species can interact and work together to create functional organs from hybrid cells in the future. For the experiment, human stem cells were introduced into pig embryos. The embryos with this mixture of genetic material only developed for a few weeks. To avoid long-term ethical and biological consequences, they were then destroyed as originally planned. The research has aroused enormous interest in the scientific community, opening up new perspectives in medicine, but it has also raised a host of ethical objections. Can such experiments be justified if their goal is to save human lives, or is it too risky a step into uncharted territory? As science searches for answers, these experiments remain one of the most ambitious attempts to look into the future of regenerative medicine. In 1,999 years in the United States, began experiments that opened a new page in the history of genetic research. Scientists were trying to introduce human DNA into cow embryos in order to create hybrids that could serve as a unique source of biomaterial for medicine. The main task was to develop technologies for growing organs suitable for transplantation to humans, which could radically reduce the shortage of donor organs. The experiments involved injecting human cells into cow embryos at the earliest stages of development. These hybrid embryos were stored under special conditions in laboratories and monitored to assess their viability and developmental potential. Studies have shown that embryos with human DNA can develop for several weeks, but they were invariably destroyed as soon as the first stages of organ formation began. This decision was due to both ethical considerations and concerns about the possible consequences of continuing to develop the hybrid. Skeptics raised many questions. Can such creatures be considered animals or humans? Where is the line between scientific progress and ethical standards? Such experiments have sparked a wave of public debate, especially among animal rights activists and religious organizations that saw it as a moral violation. Despite ethical opposition, work on hybrid embryos has made significant advances in the understanding of human-animal cellular interactions. This research has laid the foundation for modern regenerative medicine technologies, including the creation of artificial organs and tissues and the study of rare diseases. But how far science can go remains an open question. And the boundary between progress and morality remains an ongoing debate. The creation of human-animal hybrids poses questions that do not have unambiguous answers. How to determine their rights and status in society? Should they be considered intelligent if their intelligence inherits human traits? And what if such beings could feel emotions or realize their existence? And the most important question is whether humanity has a moral right to such experiments, especially if they could give us a breakthrough in the treatment of incurable diseases, or the ability to grow organs for transplantation. This is highly controversial because scientific progress goes hand in hand with ethical violations. These dilemmas affect not only science, but also the fundamental foundations of morality, philosophy, and human rights. Is society ready to accept the creation of new life forms for the sake of saving existing ones? Scientific progress is already pushing the boundaries of the possible. But where is the line that cannot be crossed? These questions remain open. Human, animal, hybrids are not only a scientific mystery, but a reflection of our quest for discovery and progress. Will these experiments change the future or become history? What are the risks, and what are we willing to do for the sake of new knowledge? The answers to these questions remain open. Write in the comments what you think about it. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. Subscribe to the channel to not miss the next videos. That will be very interesting.